they needed these nets to catch the fish. Without the fish, there's no money for food and rent. Without excuse me, without the nets, they couldn't provide for their families. They couldn't catch any fish. Then the nets they had were being constructed from grass or flax or any like fibrous plant material. They would have had to go out and gather the material, then they'd have to bring it back, prepare it, stretch it out, and then tie it into a net. Yeah. So they couldn't just go to wherever my mom got this net and buy it like that, you know. I mean, look at all those knots. That took time. Somebody had to take time and tie that in. Here you go, you can have that. And so it wasn't. He wasn't asking them to just lay down any old thing. They were having to allow him to be Lord of their lives. So the net, you know, then they would have, when they used the nets, they would have to prepare them. They would have to wash them after each use so that they could use them again, because like I said, they couldn't just go buy a net. They would have to make it. The nets were very important, is what I'm trying to get at, and that their whole lives are wrapped up in keeping these nets and preparing these nets. Some nets that I have had in my life, and that I imagine everybody has, is money and material things. I think is a big net for everybody. I think it's a huge, humongous net. I mean, I want the biggest net I can get so I can catch all the money. You know, I want as much money and the nicest stuff I can get, and that's what drove my addiction a lot. Was I want what I want when I want it, you know, and I needed more, always more. Nothing was ever enough. Another thing that was big in my life was doubt and fear, and that's just a huge net in my life. I doubted myself. I didn't have self-esteem. You know, I didn't have the motivation and the drive I needed. I feared failure, and the fear of failure kept me from moving forward and taking charge and doing the things I needed to do because I was scared. You know, and so I covered that up with my addiction. I found my identity in meth and cooking meth and being a meth dealer, and it was who I was, and it was something that I became. You know, it didn't have anything to do. It quit being fun. It quit being trying to get high. It became my identity. It's who I was, and without it, I was nothing. I built my whole persona on it. You know, and so that was huge. And this next net I want to talk about is very small, but it weighs very heavy. It's so heavy, in fact, that you can drown in it. This net is a net of unforgiveness. This is something that unforgiveness is something you can have in your heart that can cause you so much pain and so much, it can ravage your life. It can be towards a father, a mother, a brother, sister. It can be towards a friend. It can be towards yourself. A lot of times, I know that a lot of the things I did, obviously, I'm not proud of. And I had a lot of unforgiveness for myself. You know, I would tell myself, you know, you're not good enough. You've been hurting, destroying people's lives. Why stop now? You know, there's nobody. You done so much bad. There's no coming back. It is where I was, and so the unforgiveness I had for myself was weighing me down. You know, and the more I got weighed down, the more I got weighed down. The worse it got. And it was just continuing. You beat yourself up and you think, I can't come out of this. I mean, I know y'all, my guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's once you get in, you just can't get out, man. It's just until somebody introduces you to Christ and you see that a man gave his life for you. He died so that you can be forgiven. And when you accept that, everything changes. The Jesus that I'm talking about, he's no stranger to our nets. He knows exactly what we're going on. What I want to focus on with Jesus Christ is that it's not so much his divinity, but it's humanity. Jesus knows exactly what we go through because he's experienced it. He lived on earth, came born as a babe, so he was born into the most vulnerable state you could be. He didn't come in, covered in armor, big sword, pumped up arms and all that. He came as a small babe in a manger, and it says in Matthew 2:13, it says, when they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Get up, he said, take the child and the mother to Egypt. So that tells me that they had to flee to Egypt, that there was a danger that Jesus could be killed. He was, he wasn't immortal, obviously, because his spirit was, but he had brought himself down to be a human and became one of us, Emmanuel, God with us. That just tells me that we don't have a God that's way off in the distance and that's uninvolved, and he just set all this in motion and then just kind of kicked back. He is involved daily, every day in our lives, and I get to see it more than most because we're in it every day, all day, every day. I get to see and look into these guys' lives. They bless me. I hope that I'm a blessing to them. We just continually, all the time, are in it. And it's easy for us to see the things that happen. And I've talked to guys that graduated the program that went on and they're doing great and doing fine. And like my friend Jack called me today and he said, man, he had a big thing had happened to him a God week. And he said, man, I just don't get that all the time. I don't see that all the time. I miss being there where it's every day you get to see God and you get to see him work. And I said, man, maybe you're just not looking hard enough. Because God's doing stuff all the time. I mean, God was doing something that day when I was back there on that pew, and nobody knew it. God was doing stuff when I was arrested, when I was taken to jail. We had a guy just the other day, goes to jail. Unbeknownst to him, they call us, tell him they've got a warrant on him. They come pick him up, take him to jail. God turned that whole thing around, ended up, they dropped all the charges, released him, and now he's got less probation than he had when he came. So God turned something like that totally around, something that you thought, oh my God, I can't get out of this. There's, the cards are stacked so high against me. He completely turned that around, and that's because he understands. He's God with us. He's been human. He knows. When Jesus was led into the wilderness, that was what Satan wasn't attacking his divinity. He was attacking his humanity. He waited for him 40 days and 40 nights, allowed him to get hungry. Imagine he's thirsty. The desert's no dry. He's parched. He waited till he was in his weakest state, and then he attacked him with, "Come, follow me. Turn these rocks into bread. If you'll just bow to me, I'll give you everything. Everything can be easy right now. We just take it right here." And the net that Satan was trying to give him was the net of bondage, which is something that we put ourselves in, and a lot of times it comes in the disguise of freedom. When I was out using, I thought, well, I'll do what I want because I'm free, man. I can live how I want to live. I'm a grown man. I'm an adult. I can do what I want. Can't nobody tell me what to do. That's not freedom, man. That's bondage. Is what that is. I was a slave to sin. Is what I was. You're free in Christ. Jesus also was betrayed by his friend. Judas betrayed Jesus, and when he came to point him out to the Roman soldiers, Jesus told him, he said, do what you came for. And I'm sure that Jesus, being a human, 100% human, 100% God, I'm sure that he was hurt and angry and felt betrayed and all that, but he had all the reason in the world to hold unforgiveness towards Judas. But that's not what he said. He called him friend. Tell him what you've done. Little did Judas know probably that he was helping Christ fulfill the prophecy. But anyway, Jesus had all the reason in the world to be mad and have unforgiveness. Another one we read in Matthew 26. Matthew 26, 59 and 60 and 63. It says, the chief priest and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for false evidence against Jesus so that they could put him to death. But they did not find any, though many false witnesses came forward. Jesus remained silent. There, Jesus is being wrongfully accused, and I believe we've probably all been there. Nobody likes to be wrongfully accused, and immediately you want to jump into being defensive and stating your case and arguing back, and no, I'm innocent, and I didn't do that. And I picked up that nail a bunch. And it wasn't me. It wasn't me. That was my buddy who did that. It couldn't have been me. I'm innocent. Anyway, but Jesus didn't do any of that. He just let them say what they had to say because he knew they wasn't stopping his show. He was already beyond that, so beyond that. But in Matthew 27, 29 and 30, we hear that the Roman soldiers twisted together a crown, shoved it on Jesus' head, they spit on him and mocked him, kicked him, and just made fun of him, and now I can relate to this because I spent most of my life, I'm kind of big boy, and I've been big all my life, except when I was on meth. But when I was in middle school and some in high school, a lot of times I got picked on because I was big, I was overweight, and that stuff hurt, man, and it hurt me, and it helped lower my self-esteem. I'm not blaming, of course I'm not blaming my addiction on that because I was making my own decisions, but those feelings just take you over, man. You feel worthless, you feel hurt and angry, and you pick up those nets, and by Joe, you hold on to them, and I'm not letting this one go. You hold on to that unforgiveness and anger and hate, and these things consume you, and then you run into things like drugs or sex or money or whatever the focus may be. Y'all can hear me? Yes. Oh, great. Kind of free. I should have kept my net. Let's see. Okay. Anyway, what I'm getting at is that Jesus was. Is it better now? Oh, it changed better. You're looking out. Let's see. Anyway, Jesus was just like us, man. He came, he gave up his God, of course, with the Trinity, God gave a part of himself up to come to earth, become a human, become just like us, suffer with us, be hungry, be mad, be angry. He's experienced all he's experienced all our emotions because he cares for us and he loves us. And through that, suffered and died on the cross for us, so that I can be forgiven. Amen. So that a raggedy, no good sinner could come to the cross and be forgiven, man, and have a place in heaven. Amen. And that, I don't know about y'all, that means something to me. Amen. To have somebody that loves you and cares for you enough to die, that's something, that's really something. That's the gospel. And that's the good news. And thank God for that, because if not, you might as well go out and get high, because it ain't nothing else. You're just going to die one day and nothing. That ain't nothing to live for, And I'm just so thankful that God has given me that and given me something to live for and given me a new life and a new hope. Amen. And I'm just so thankful. I don't know what else to say. But each of these guys here that's in the program, they're all at different parts of their walk. They're at different stages of laying down their nets, putting down their lives, laying down their lives for Christ. They're all at different stages. We've got guys like Drew that's 9 months. We've got guys like Ty that hadn't been here a month, you know, and God's working in each of them's life in different stages and different. I mean, Ty comes to me, all things, one of my advisees, he comes to me all the time with questions about things and digging in the Word and just being excited about the Word, you know, and these newfound things that I don't know before we didn't know. And I just, over this course of time, being a student and being on staff, I've been able to see God just do so much in people's lives. You know, Drew is dealing with his anger, getting over his anger. Andre's getting his passion back, you know, his vision back that Satan took from him. Bill, it's a local boy right here. You know, they're laying down their lives every single day, and it's just powerful. And so anyway, what I want to do is have these guys come up, and I want the prayer warriors out there in the church to pray for these guys and you know, pray that they continue, that they lay those nets down and that they leave them where they are, and they don't pick them back up, that they continue on, and you can, you know, ask them their name, love on them a little bit, maybe to get them to pray with you, whatever you want to do. But y'all come on up and we'll do that as an altar call and we'll see you lunch. Yeah, spread out the
If we will, all the board members that are here, I want you guys to come up and just pray for all of these guys here, and after you guys pray for them, we're going to do just like Corey said, and give an opportunity for anybody else to come up here, and you don't have to feel like you have to come up here and bow your head in front of them and just wait on them to start praying for you. Talk to them. Tell them where you're at in your life, and give them the opportunity to minister back to you.